So next, I would like to bring up a topic. So as we all know, the Oscars happened.
It just happened.
It was a thing. That was a thing that happened.
At a time and place.
None of us watched it live, right? We've seen bits of it.
We've
heard things about it.
I didn't really have the urge to watch it.
I don't have cable, so I'm one of those cord-cutter millennial
so
assholes.
There's that. And a part of it is that numbers continue to decline year by year, right? And that just parallels the decrease in TV watching.
NFL viewership's down, like everything.
It's in line with every other thing, major like cable program that's down.
Yes, but also it's still a big event and drives a lot of conversation, controversy. Obviously, there's snafus happening, but this conversation I don't want to treat as a reaction to specifically what happened, right? I want to treat
we all know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, we didn't really watch Oscars. We didn't really have an interest, right?
I saw a Vine of it.
That's all I needed.
But the thing is that there's sort of this spectrum I'm trying to draw about the nature of award shows at large, right? And I'm sort of caught in the middle of it, and that's why I wanted to bring it to discuss with you guys.
Well, I think and this goes for any award show, not just the Oscars, but I think they had such a greater level of significance back before, well, even the internet was a thing. Anybody that's producing content, be it movies, music, art, all that jazz. I mean, even like comedy awards, which is more of a recent thing.
Even before jazz. No, I'm just kidding. That's a lie.
But and we've got sites like for movies, Rotten Tomatoes, where everybody can throw in their 2 cents. Everybody can get a general idea, and other sites, of course, too. But everyone can get a general idea of where a movie stands across the board with a variety of groups and demographics. But before that, if I were gonna produce a movie, I would certainly want some form of recognition aside from the monetary benefit that came out of it. And who wouldn't love a freaking golden trophy?
Yeah,
it'd be great.
So you're talking about sort of what, mid 1900s or something, like 20th century.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, like I don't know the exact date when the Oscars started. Are you looking it up?
And that's why we have Google.
Yeah, but that's a very astute point. Is because
89th Academy Awards. Wow.
Because of the nature of technology up to this point and the sort of decentralization of information and where you get your opinions and news and stuff like that. Everything was so centralized back then that I think that's a very astute point to bring out, that it's losing relevance just because of the sheer nature of information.
Oh yeah, because I mean,
during 1927. Interesting.
That's the first time. Cool.
Wow, well before the birth of the internet.
So, what I'm bringing to the table right now is a question: what is the function of an award show to you? Because, as you were saying, it ties to marketing.
Yes.
Right? A lot of it is marketing.
I would have to agree with that.
That's sort of the easy answer of like being against it, right? Not that it's wrong, but that just being like dismissing it as marketing, right? Because I do value things like that as a platform for, celebrating things we love.
Absolutely.
I think that's vital and important, and the reason that we do that already. We talk to each other, talk to our friends about the latest movie. Oh, did you see Logan, right? We already celebrate these things, right? To do that on a platform, I think it's healthy to a certain degree.
Yeah,
right?
and it still has relevance in that you're going toe to toe with other movies or whatever you're producing, like in the same genre, and you're fighting to be the best of the best. And there's always something exhilarating about that, like seeing if you match up to the A-list players. Yeah. So if you win out from that, it's just like any other contest. There's something exhilarating about it.
Yeah. Okay. So the spectrum I want to draw is that. Is an award to bestow critical credibility just about the work itself? Or is it to sort of capture the zeitgeist of what's happening right now culturally at large? Not 100% about the work itself, but being like, oh, this is saying a social message that is very relevant right now. Or this is celebrating an actor who's doing a great thing right now. That's not necessarily the best, but that we want to elevate on a platform.
Well, actors, do this all the time when they're doing their acceptance speeches. Instead of thanking people, they start spouting off their social platforms and their ideas for, political whatever.
But do you think that's not a good thing?
Within reason?
It can and can't. Both. I don't know. It's hard.
Well,
it's hard.
I think you need to moderate yourself to a degree, because at the end of the day, you're still an entertainer. You do get a great more deal of spotlight than the average Joe Schmo will, and that's awesome. But also, with great power comes great responsibility. So when you're in a position of influence, be it actor or politician, I mean, actors do have a lot of exposure, so a lot of people are influenced by what they do on a regular basis. So you got to be careful with what kind of message you're pumping out and how you want your followers to think, because some people just get indoctrinated by their favorite like sports celebrity or favorite actor, actress.
Yeah, sort of blind loyalty, right?
To an extent, yeah. So you should not abuse that.
Okay, that's sort of one thing I want to talk about, is that I want to talk about if awards in itself are antithetical to the whole process of art itself. Because art, for me, lies in sort of,
Subjectivity?
dialectically talking to people about it, and, getting tons of different perspectives about it. And art, we talk about how authorial intent isn't 100% the thing.
Right.
You know
Because
what I mean?
everybody has their own
Everyone
experience,
has their own
takeaway.
experience. That experience is a part of the artwork, right?
Yeah.
So I'm asking, if you were mentioning like your sports team, right? You're flying under a banner, and this reveals itself in politics as well, where it's a very binary, this award won, or this movie won, so I'm right. You know what I mean? Because I've seen a lot of things and a lot of conversations online and in real life, where the conversation stops at, but this won the award, so I'm right.
Right. There's no further development.
You know what I mean?
In the,
and the
It
thing
kills
is,
the conversation.
Yeah.
you're not necessarily wrong. Who's to say which is better, right? You're not necessarily wrong, but the art lies in the conversation and the sharing of perspectives, right? But the minute that people use the awards in that fashion, that's when it kills it. So
okay.
I'm wondering, where's the line between celebrating something and providing an opportunity for conversation, which is ideally, if the awards were like great, that's what we do. Like, it provides an opportunity for us to get together and be like, this is awesome because of this. The screenplay, it does this. This is why it's very good.
And
right?
not just because it got an award.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just, this is better because it won the award. Shut up.
One of my favorite parts of movies, as much as the movie itself, is like seeing it with my friends and talking about it afterwards. So if you're using this argument of, Moonlight was better than any other thing.
I was going to bring that up, actually.
Right, and that kills the conversation, just like you're a total buzzkill. Like, that's not cool. I enjoy talking about it, and we all get different things from the same, media. That's how art works. So,
ask something to flesh out the convo, like what were your main takeaways from Moonlight or a similar movie?
The same thing could mean a million different things to a million different folks. So to create like this objective, means of saying, this is the one winner, the one movie to rule them all, like, that just seems a little backwards to me. And
I'd have to agree, because if you're applying an objective unit of measurement to art, that doesn't work. Not all the time. I mean, I like to think people can generally think, hey, this movie was of a decent quality or not. I think that's fairly obvious. I mean, but other than that, when it gets into the higher tier like brackets, when people say a movie is of great quality, then people have their varying reasons for enjoying it. It's not all black and white.
Yeah. And to bring in an example that's very relevant, right? Not necessarily reacting to it, but there's a lot of narratives being spun between La La Land and Moonlight, and a lot of people sort of misrepresenting, and I've seen both of them, and I love both of them. Both of them are amazing in their own way for me, very personally, right? I love both of them, and I can relate to both of them in different ways, right? But there's a lot of verses going on, and a lot of people sort of misrepresenting and being like, you only like this because of the black narrative, the white narrative, or the homosexual narrative, stuff like that, right? When it's not providing opportunities for a conversation anymore, it's providing banners to fly under, very binary banners, just like a political party, right? There's so many moderate, normal people out there.
Yeah, the ones that don't adhere to either extreme.
There's normal people out there who just like La La Land and like Moonlight just as movies, as experiences. But then you fly under these banners, certain people, and sort of spoil the bunch. And I think that's very unfortunate.
It's creating in-groups and out-groups that are exclusionary by nature. And that's very, it discourages discussion and a healthy...
Us versus them mentality. Classic.
Right. Yeah, so it's definitely not healthy, And by the way, these people judge these movies, it's also a representation of... like the social values of the time.
Oh yeah, it constantly changes.
Yeah, so
can you imagine trying to make a movie like Moonlight 50 years ago?
Right. Yeah, it's like there's no way that would.
And I think it's important, but not at the expense of another movie. A lot of people, espouse their love of Moonlight. I love Moonlight so much personally, but a lot of people take it at the expense of other movies, and I feel ill about that because, especially when it's ill represented, because people are like, "Oh, La La Land spins this white narrative of savior," or what, and I'm like, you're misrepresenting, and you're making enemies out of people you don't have to be. You know what I mean?
Merely for the point of comparison.
Being exclusionary for the sake of it is unhealthy.
I would
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
People are like, oh, Damien Chazelle shouldn't have shared the cover with Barry. I'm blanking on Barry Jenkins, Moonlight director. I forgot.
Let's roll with that.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been sharing the spotlight with him on the cover of a magazine. And I'm like, we all love these things for different reasons. Yeah, Barry Jenkins. We all love these things for different reasons. Let's not be exclusionary. Exclusionary is not what we need right now.
No.
It's the opposite.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a little less of that could go a long way.
One more thing.
One
So
more thing.
tangential to this. Yeah, going back to the original question now is, for example, someone like Casey Affleck winning an award, right? And he's had numerous allegations of sexual abuse and stuff like that against fellow sort of movie makers.
Really? I was not aware of that.
In that sort of community. Huh. And where do you fall on that? Because it sort of ties into how can you separate the art from artist, right? So going back to the original question, is the function of award shows critically, should he have won if he gave the best performance? Because the award is called Best Performance for a Leading
Yeah,
Actor,
I would have to say it has nothing to do with the personal values, like the person, the actor that's contributing. It's how they're performing. Like, if I were to go on the personality of Tom Cruise, I would never go see another one of his movies again because he's a Scientologist nutso freak. Yeah. But
he makes damn good action movies.
And that's why I keep on going to see
That's
them.
why it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? And a part of that is the fact that we bestow these awards on different criteria.
Oh God, Woody Allen.
Yeah, Woody Allen. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
I watched Annie Hall
Yep.
a week ago.
Yep.
And it's a hard thing to juggle.
Well, separating the actor persona from the person.
Yeah, so what is, going back to the original question, what is the function of an award show? Is it culturally to sort of capture what we want to celebrate, or is it to critically bestow credibility?
I think you kind of look at it like a buffet.
Buffet.
Where it's very a la carte. You know, if to you, you know, if as a business, you know, that wants to create great movies and make a lot of money, you say, hey, you know, these Oscar-nominated people are great bait to, you know, make a lot of money in future films. So let's go recruit them. For some small-time actor to, you know, beat all odds and, you know, destroy, you know, A-list actors, established actors to get a huge break and just win an
underdog
Oscar.
story. People love that.
She wins something. They're set for life. You know, they get to. It encourages their work, and they get to keep doing more movies. So you know, it can be good and bad, and it just kind of depends on what the lens is at that moment. I think.
I like to evaluate actors' performance purely on their performance per se. If they're a great person, that's awesome, but I'm not going to translate that into how they have performed in a movie. I think they should be separate. Same thing with Tom Cruise. You know, he's Bat's nutso freak in real life, but I do appreciate his performances on the big screen, and I try to separate them as best as I can.
See, the Oscars or the you know, acting, Hollywood in general doesn't have like the NFL style rule where it's like, hey, if you have like character issues, then you can't play in a movie. You can't be in a movie. They don't really have that.
No, that doesn't exist at all.
Well, but you know, for example, Mel Gibson, it was kind of shunned for a while, but he's back to, you know, he's actually in talks to
he's gotten back.
Do Suicide Squad 2. Like, you know, he's making a comeback.
No one would have ever thought that would have been a thing after just crazy rantings back in the day.
But no, there's no authoritative body that says, hey, you can't do this anymore. So
no, there isn't.
I think it's up to the
Hacksaw Ridge won a lot of awards.
Oh yeah, it nailed it, killed it with that.
I think it's up to the viewer and the consumer to, you know, speak through, you know, their wallets basically, and enable these films, enable these directors, actors, actresses, and say, hey, this what you did is, you know, not okay. We're not going to go see your movie. Or hey, what you did is, you know, ethically gray, but not necessarily, you know, good or bad.
Right.
We'll go see your film. You're good enough.
Well, the driving factor at the end of the day will always be the moolah.
Yeah.
At the funnel, it moves everything forward.
All right, and that's our show. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you stay with us for the ride next time. My name is Jack Russell. You can reach me at JRustTerrier on Twitter.
And I'm Brad. I'm working on Twitter as we speak.
You can find him at POTUS. And I'm
POTUS.
Justin at JHRussell94. Thank you for watching.
All right, see you next time.